Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Now, it's been a little while since I've been on here, and I've no doubt that you guys are all aware that I've been a bit busy. Anyway, I want to get back into producing decent tutorial style content, and I want to do it fairly regularly. So this is my promise to you. From now on, I'm going to be doing monthly tutorials on Amazon, and I'm going to use SellerAMP SAS to show you what can be achieved with a really brilliant bit of sourcing analysis software that's essential if you want to be an Amazon seller. You're going to need two bits of kit in this world if you want to sell on Amazon, and one of them is an Amazon seller account and the other is SellerAMP SAS. And I want to show you how to peek behind the curtain, how to scratch beneath the surface and make the most of this software so you can really make good, informed choices about what it is you do and get the most out of your subscription. If you like these videos, please press the like button. If you've got something to say, please drop a comment down there. If you are so inclined and you want more, please subscribe. And if you want that bell to ring every time this mug shows up, press that bell button too. We're going to get this channel up and running as a free resource to show you what you can learn for free if you don't want to go down the buying a course route. I've got one of those, but I also want to give you a free version as well. First up in our series, we are going to talk about the buy box. I'm not going to spoil anything here. We'll do it after the thing. Roll the thing. Okay, so navigating this concept of the Amazon buy box, it can be quite daunting if you're new, but even experienced sellers understand its significance, because once you get to grips with the intricacies of this feature, it really does significantly influence your buying decisions, your sales, your pricing strategies, your competitive edge on Amazon. And what I want to do is demystify this mystical buy box. I want to talk about how important it is, and I want to give you tips on how to look for it using SAS so you know what you're doing. So what is the buy box? It's this. It's this little box, this buy it now, add to basket. It's where you, as an Amazon buyer, and I've no doubt you do this as an Amazon buyer, I certainly do, you hit that button impulsively, especially if you're looking at it on your phone, because it's massive on your phone. It's front and center. So this is where the customer will make at least 99.999% of their purchases at the time. And it's where you, as a seller, will have your product sold. Because if you own that buy box, that's your money. And that's why it's so important. Securing that, being the owner of that buy box on a listing, that is crucial because it directly influences the buyer. How many of you have scrolled underneath that and hit that other buying options button? I haven't. I didn't even know it existed until I was an Amazon seller. Everything was that button. So the big question is, how do we win this buy box? Now, your default thought process, I'm sure, is going to be, I'll be the cheapest. And that's the mantra for all of the price tankers that drive us all mad. I know if I drop it a penny under that person and a penny under that person, what I'll do, I'll get the buy box. Yes, it's a big factor. The price is a big factor, but it's not the factor. And this is really important. We'll get into this in a minute. Amazon has an algorithm for the buy box. It considers a whole myriad. Price, of course, being one, but it also considers what method of fulfillment you're using, what your seller rating is like, what your reviews say about you, what your account health is, how many you have got in stock, what location is your stock at in relation to where the buyer is. You know, the stuff that you would assume would be common sense if you owned a global retailer. Let's talk fulfillment methods with this. If you're using Amazon FBA, which most of us are, you do have a significant advantage over the FBMers, the fulfilled by merchants. Amazon are now giving FBM more kudos. They are giving them more of the buy box and Prime than they used to. But they will still choose FBA over FBM where possible. Because think about it. We pay Amazon a bunch of fees for the privilege of selling on FBA. So, of course, Amazon would always consider us more important because we're giving them money. Let's talk about pricing strategy. Your pricing has to be competitive. Doesn't necessarily have to be the lowest price, as we've said, but it has to compete. Amazon will allow you a rough 10 to 15% either side of what the norm is, of what your competition's doing, of what the historical data says so, of what the buy box has been for the last 30, 60, 90, 120 days. So let's get into the nitty gritty, right? The question that I get an awful lot is, Amazon are on the listing and they get an awful lot of the buy box. Should I even bother competing with them, or should I swerve it? I'll tell you what, let's get into a screen share and I'll talk you through it with pictures and everything. Okay, for the purposes of this demonstration, we're going to use our old pal Monopoly. Tried and tested, everyone knows Monopoly through the ages. Have a look at this. Look, it sells 7,000 times a month. 7,000 times a month. First thing you want to do before you do anything is go into your settings down here, scroll all the way to the bottom, switch on your buy box analysis. Come back to this screen. Now, before we get into the actual analysis itself, you'll notice now the buy box data is very, very prevalent. So look, what is the buy box price? What are Amazon selling it for? And is it the buy box? As we scroll down here, how many buy box price changes have there been? Now, as we continue to scroll down and we look at this chart, look at this big orange. That means Amazon have been on it the whole time. Now, we need to understand if they're going to share their buy box or not, and if they're a good person to actually compete with on this particular listing, because it varies from listing to listing to listing. Now, let's get down to this pie chart, because this is where the good stuff is. Look at that big sea of orange. In the last 90 days, in the last 3 months, look down here, Amazon have priced it at £14.58, and they have been owning the buy box for 92% of the time. That's not all, because what you want to do is you want to bring it down to the most recent data you can. So in the last 30 days, wow, in the last 30 days, Amazon have actually been on it for 99% of the time. Now, you're going to look at that and you're going to go, I'm not jumping on that listing. Amazon are on it 99% of the time. But let's think bigger picture, right? It sells 7,000 times a month. So that 1% that Amazon share their buy box for, that's 70 sales in a month. So could you be confident if you sourced this, let's say you sourced it for £3 and it sells for £13, you could compete at that price with Amazon and still compete for 70 units a month? It's not bad. You need to think about the bigger picture. It's not just one element that defines your whole decision. All right, the other thing we need to cover on this session is buy box suppression. Sometimes when you set a price, Amazon decide we don't like it that high, and you're not having a buy box because you're out of order to our customers. And they then take the buy box away, and that's what's considered suppressed. So let's do another screen share and I'll show you what it looks like. Look at this. So we found this Win-A-Lot dog food. I'm not going to lie to you. One of these up here, which one was it? One of them, I can't remember, was my first ever product. So I know a lot about Win-A-Lot. So have a look here. Look, you'll notice straight away there's no buy box. Big white space where the buy box usually is. And there's the other buying options. Straight away, what we'll do is we'll go down and just show you on the buy box analysis what it looks like. There it is, look, suppressed. Big section of that. It's been suppressed 30% of the time. This is being sold right now, £20.53. We can see that the buy box was allowed at around the £17, £18 mark. £20 is too much, and they've decided to suppress the buy box. Now let's see in the last 30 days. Yeah, much less, 10%. Same sort of deal. But it gives you an idea of what the historic price should be for a buy box to become eligible. But if you want to sell it for more than that, you still can, but it will be in this little box here, and Amazon won't necessarily like it. You'll also get an email every day telling you that your price isn't competitive. Now, you can choose to ignore that. I do. And it depends on what the market's doing, depends on the brand strength. It depends on how much proclivity there is for your audience to think, you know what, I love Win-A-Lot dog food so much, I'm going to buy it regardless of the price. That's a suppressed buy box. Focus on reading this data. Make sure that you've switched on that buy box analysis in your settings on SAS, and make sure you look at it every single time. It gives you an idea of your chances as a percentage buy box, because once you do own that box, everything is yours. Well, don't get carried away, not everything, but you know, sales and stuff. All right, we're back on track, everyone. If you do like what we're doing, please like it, please leave a comment, please subscribe, tell your friends. Anyone that's struggling with Amazon FBA stuff, this page is a free resource that I am dedicating to maintain and help you with. In the meantime, we have also got our Facebook group, which is also free, at the time of recording this in April 2024, I can never figure it out. We've got 9,000 strong in there at the moment, and we are consistently growing. I've got a free newsletter as well that will talk about Amazon FBA and other things that I'm doing generally in e-commerce. And we've got the podcast, which again, of course, is free. And if you found me on here, you will see a bunch of episodes on it as well. What else am I doing? No, I think that's enough, don't you? Have a lovely week. Cheers.